Hey Gladiators, my name is Crystal Rommel and I'm very excited to present our very first broadcast of the school year, made by the students in the TV broadcasting class.
Hello everyone, my name is Jake Simcoe from Studio 652. Today I'll be talking to you about the tennis courts.
This is Mrs. Simcoe. I am the assistant principal here at Gar High School. I oversee both the facilities and the athletics department. I wanted to show you our new construction that is going on right now. We are creating 6 beautiful tennis courts. For as long as I've known, Gar has not had tennis courts that they can use for competitive purposes. The tennis courts that are on our campus are not legitimate tennis courts for competition. So for many, many years, the Gar tennis teams have had to drive over to Liberty Park on a daily basis for both practice and for competitions. So we're going to have our tennis kids right here on campus where they belong. So I want to give a good big shout out to Tuan Wen, who is the CBO for our school district. He's the one that is footing the bill for this construction. This is going to allow, again, our students to stay on campus. We won't have to be concerned about them traveling to and from campus, which has always been a concern for us as an administration. We want to make sure that our students are safe and we don't want them to get into some sort of an accident en route to a tennis competition. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. This is a very long process. We actually started talking with the architects back in the spring of 2020, back in like February, March. We had a first conversation with the architects and the district MOT folks to design these courts. So they just filled in about half of the concrete, and by next Thursday, they will have completed the pouring of the concrete. The concrete then has to sit idle for 60 days to cure, because we don't want the concrete to crack and to settle. Once the concrete has been cured, they are going to put a colored silicone coat on top with the painted tennis courts for everybody. And I picked out this really cool blue, because we are Gar Blue, so I'm going to be excited to see our Gar Blue tennis courts. But it's going to be probably the 1st of December before we will actually be able to utilize them and have our tennis students use them for competitions and for practices.
Well anyways, I look forward to what comes next. This is Jake Simcoe signing off. You stay classy, Gar High School.
Thank you, Jake. Now let's take a look at the science department and how they've adapted their teaching to this new form of learning.
This is Laura Armenta reporting from Studio 652 News. Today we're going to talk about how the teachers are doing science via online.
My name is Megan Manning.
I'm Nathan Kunkel. I'm a chemistry CP teacher at GAR.
My name is Mrs. Lopez. I currently teach CP physics and chemistry at GAR High School.
Some of the chemistry labs are performed and can be adapted at home, but those who don't find it easy, they can find internet stimulations for it.
A lot of science teachers use PhET simulations.
Yeah, there's one that a lot of science teachers use that's called PhET. It's like PhET, and they have a bunch of different like chemistry, biology, physics simulations that you can do. In fact, that was part of class for the last couple of days, and it is pretty good because if you set it up, it can be an activity where you really like guide the students, even though you're not like doing it right along with them. But if you have like a good handout, it really can help like them guide and kind of learn by looking at these simulations. So
an advantage of teaching this class online is that the teacher will be more available for help whenever the student needs it, mostly around the clock.
You know, we do have our support block from 2 to 2:30. So if students ever need help, they can come in and just make an appointment with the teacher, and then they can come in and ask us questions and get help on homework.
yeah, the normal support block that everybody has, that all the teachers are supposed to have, is 2 to 2:30. But do I have any students showing up to it? No.
And during this time, students can ask any questions that they probably didn't understand during class, or if they were absent, this is the time to catch up too.
Also, they'll have limitless opportunity for students to revisit and review their information in the lesson many times until they understand it. When they're doing lab, teachers can provide slides on how to perform it step by step, or to do it together so that they won't get confused on what to do next or skip a step they weren't supposed to.
Usually in those classes, it's a little easier to do labs at home because students usually use like non-toxic and like household items. So I'll normally just give the students a list of items to get, and most of the time the students are able to get the items.
But in the case that students cannot get them, they're not penalized. What we do is usually one student will perform the lab and the rest will also collect the data based on what that student is presenting, or sometimes I pre-record videos and students can collect the data from those videos.
What are some of the advantages and disadvantages of having science class online?
There are multiple advantages and disadvantages of teaching online classes in science. Some of the advantages that I'm able to identify is that at least now we have some type of virtual interaction, which we didn't really have during the OLA period towards the end of the spring semester. So that's definitely an advantage.
Advantages? I think more students are showing up to class. Because they don't have to like drive to school or whatever, or even if they have to go on vacation or whatever, they are able to bring their computer with them. So in normal situation they might miss school, but because we're online they can actually still come to class.
Also, I've noticed that some students actually are doing better in the sense that they've been able to be more focused because some of the distractions are eliminated, and they can kind of go at their own pace. They can go back and review videos or information and simulation presented in class.
I think a big disadvantage is just not having that hands-on experience. Some kids will get it, but it's so much better like when we're in the classroom because sometimes the students can't get all the correct supplies, so they're kind of using things that don't work as well if I would have done it in the classroom and given them supplies. And not just like in the lab portion, but for other stuff. Sometimes it's easier for a teacher to like walk around and look at everybody's worksheets to kind of see how they're doing, and they can help them individually. But when you're online, it's really hard because you're not looking at the worksheet. If you are looking on GoGuardian, you don't want to like call out the student in front of the whole class and just start asking questions. So there's a lot of disadvantages.
This whole virtual academy hasn't been as bad. Like I was really not looking forward to it because I really have like fun when I'm at work, but and I really love being around those students and joking around and all that stuff. And I really didn't think that I would find any enjoyment out of this, but I actually do still have a little bit of fun. It's just like I'll crack a joke and I can't really see if like I can't hear anybody laughing, so that's kind of like, all right, hey, unmute yourselves and laugh so I can hear you laugh at my jokes. I know it's funny. But I don't know, it's temporary and like I'll roll with the punches and hope we get back to school pretty soon. So that's about it, I would say. I'm not getting paid for this. Is that what you're telling me?
Sadly, no.
All right, I'm out then. See ya.
Now let's go to Kyle and take a look at the 3D art department and how the teachers are doing their projects and teaching from home.
School has been extra hard due to it being online, and we want to know how teachers and students are handling this change. I'm Cal Pastor from 652 Studios, and we got the chance to talk to Miss Edson and Miss Grover and had them break down how they go about each class day.
I've definitely had to adapt my instructional delivery. I'm trying to break up the 70-minute period so that I can do a little check-in with students, a little bit of lecturing, a little bit of working time, a little bit of lecturing again.
For the most part, in the beginning of the year, we tried to use supplies or do projects that we thought students would be able to do with what they have at home. Last week, we did a supply pickup day. We were able to compile all of the supplies students need to make it through January. We added some personalized touches through choices of color of yarn, and we added extra clay for students who were able to donate so they can get a few more projects experience working with their hands in the clay.
We've spent more than 10 hours working on putting together the supply packs so that everyone would have everything they need.
I think my favorite art project that we've done this year is the Zentangle piece, where we had to split our paper up into 10 parts and we had to like draw lines and all that stuff, and I just think it came out really cool.
The kind of work that students can make at home without a lot of hands-on help from me virtually, it's going to be interesting to see how things turn out when the students are more in control of what they're keeping and what they're going to turn in.
We're just in a weird setting right now, but I know things will evolve and change, and hopefully if we do get to be back in person, it'll be easier to kind of have more informal, casual, get-to-know-you kind of conversations.
From what we have seen, our students and staff in the art department have put in tremendous amounts of work and dedication to this process. Well, folks, you make do with what you have. I'm Cal Pastor from 652 Studios, signing off.
We know that students are very eager to get back into class in a normal work environment. Let's take a look at the safety measures for our school's return.
Hey Gladiators, my name is Miguel Torres from Studio 652. Last week we had the chance to talk to both Dr. Lois and Mr. Simcoe about what are the safety precautions coming back to school. Here's what Dr. Lois had to say.
Current virtual environment, we want to make sure our students are all safe. If and when we get back to virtual school, our district's been working really hard to identify protocols and have systems in place that keep us safe in a COVID environment. So our assistant principal, Ms. Simcoe, is working to create a plan where we could return back to school and everyone could be as safe as possible. That would include the use of masks by students and staff members, maintaining 6 feet of distancing, probably going to a hybrid schedule where half of the students in the class would report one day and then the other half would report the other day, and they'd be in a class separated by 6 feet. The teacher would have a plexiglass screen and all kinds of things where school would look really different, but at least we'd have our gladiators back on campus. So we're working and we're thinking this through, but we still need LA County Department of Health and the state of California to deem LA County in a position where we can have kids back on school. Right now, for our staff on campus, because some of us are here in a reduced capacity, we have to do a COVID check at home every day. And if we're not feeling well, we need to stay at home for that day until our symptoms pass. So, to make sure that we don't have COVID.
And this is what Mrs. Simcoe had to say.
Hi, Gladiators. This is Mrs. Simcoe coming to you from my office at Gar High School. Marilyn asked me to explain to you and show you some of the things that we're doing here to help support both our students and our teachers, hoping to make them feel comfortable and excited about coming back to school here on campus. So we've purchased a lot of different items to help keep clean the classrooms, the desks, and everything else in between, so that we have these great big buckets that each teacher is going to have, and you can see that it has 500 sanitizing wipes in each and every one of these buckets. So it'll take a while to go through that 500 wipes, but we've got more coming. Each teacher is also going to have a very large hand sanitizing pump station in the classrooms so that the teachers and the students can use the hand sanitizers as they both enter and exit the school. Each teacher has also been provided a face shield that they can choose to wear if they like. They don't have to, but if they want to wear the face shield, they are more than welcome to wear the face shield. If they do wear the face shield, underneath it, they will be required to also don this beautiful face mask. So we have both disposable face masks and we have reusable face masks that have been purchased for the teachers.
It looks like our students and staff have been doing a great job adapting to these obstacles. I'm Crystal Romulo from 652 Studios, and I'm happy to say that you'll be seeing more broadcasts within the next few weeks. Thank you.